I've got a couple. I've got a couple kind of takes and stances which I've taken over this last year or so, almost 2 years that we've been talking about these. Well, doing these card talks and talking about these lifts. But a little bit of clarification. I think when I boil it down, it really comes down to this. There's two kinds of fucking lifter. There's the lifter who's making gains, and I'm not gonna flip you off, but and then there's the lifter who isn't. And it's really as simple as that. It's not, there's a fucking ego lifter and there's a fucking science-based lifter. Look, there's guys who are making gains and there's guys who aren't. So I think you know which party you should be in. But it's not so simple as that. I mean, what goes into fucking making gains? It's your routine, it's your ability to eat correctly for what your goals are, get a reasonable amount of sleep, have a routine throughout the day where you can actually lift on the regular without long-term breaks in between because you have to oh, I feel like I'm burning out, I got to take the month off. Nobody's going to get gains like that. It just does not fucking happen. But when it comes down to kind of the looking at like the science-based lifter, I think that's a little bit misconstrued because obviously I want to fucking do the fanciest pants, most effective, optimal movements I can. But I think the issue comes when it's like just guys who haven't actually kind of figured it out for themselves, just die hard jumping on a bandwagon of like, dude, why would you ever curl above the 40s? You don't need to do that. You heard Arnold say that he could curl the 40s for a perfect set. Dude, you're just fucking ego lifting. It's like, why would you ever want to do a barbell squat? Doing a single leg unilateral leg press with lightweight and a slow eccentric, that's the best way to do it. And it's the reason why I kind of dog in somebody like that who just jumps on that kind of bandwagon is a lot of the times, if you just look at it from a standpoint of like not having done it before, a lot of things which are kind of being promoted now is like being more effective, I feel are kind of easier. Like doing a set to if you told somebody who's never worked out before, like, okay, what should you try to train to failure every set? Oh, well, that's probably fucking kind of hard. For somebody who's not really into it yet, if they hear somebody tell them, like, you should train with 5 reps in reserve, that's just as effective. It just kind of sounds like a fucking cop out, And then we've got dudes doing, sets as a beginner where they're barely pushing themselves even close to failure because they heard somebody say on a fucking like multi-million view YouTube video, like, you only need to do sets with 5 reps in reserve. Any more than that is actually proven ineffective. And I feel like it's sort of rising the percentage of guys who aren't pushing themselves that hard. Because beyond your training style and your approach, when it comes to your time actually in the gym, I really feel like the variable that kind of transcends any style or any different way of like doing like lower volume, really higher intensity stuff, or like maybe a higher volume workout where you do like 20 sets for biceps, but your rest periods are shorter. What's actually going to fucking really change the scale in either one of those cases is who's going the hardest. Because it's very nice, and I really like the simplicity of it, because you don't necessarily need perfect technique. You don't need like absolute fucking like grandmaster knowledge. You don't need a crazy amount of fucking just experience to push yourself to insane failure on a set and make it crazy fucking effective. Now, of course, the more experience you get, the more effective that you can be to. I think the biggest thing is just maximally fucking contract whatever muscle you're using. But that doesn't just mean that you're now working your biceps twice as hard. I really think that the thing that changes the most as you lift and get more experience over time isn't that you can now suddenly hit that muscle like 3 times as hard as you could as a beginner, but you can isolate it so you're not wasting your energy. If you put a somebody who's never worked out before on like a lat pull down, and you could somehow like get a reading of the activation levels of their forearms and their biceps and their shoulders and their like they'd have a lot of forearm arm activation And if they're trying to work their lats, then that's taking a lot of energy away from their set. So they're probably going to fail kind of prematurely before their lats are really totally cooked. So, of course, the longer you lift, the more effective you can make your sets. I mean, like in the arm day, I did 2 videos ago where I'm doing those bent over bicep curls. Those were fucking perfect. That was pretty much all bicep, nothing else. Right? That was a really good isolative set where I didn't waste too much energy on the actual, like, function of moving the curl and using my shoulders or anything else. But I'm not. I just don't like it. I'm not. I'm not gonna. I mean, you see me doing them. I'm doing fucking super slow eccentrics on triceps now, like probably more than any other body part. Maybe hamstrings too. I'm doing them like back days, like all shit that's like oh, this is a solid way to do it. You're making your sets reasonably effective. You're working the length position. You gotta like yeah, sure, it's fucking right. But I just don't like when people kind of try to make it seem like you'll get the same results by going maybe not half-assed but three-quarter-assed instead of seriously trying to fucking kill it. Because I mean, I don't know. I wonder if I would be the lifter I am right now if I was coming up right now, like with all the and not just like about the lifting but like everything about fitness that's getting posted now compared to like 5 6 years ago. It's just, it's a different fucking time. And really fucking going nuts, I feel like it's not as fucking promoted as much, you know? So maybe that's just me being kind of a hater, but dude, I just hate to see it. So I'm not anti-science. I'm not pro ego lifting. I mean, you're not going to catch me doing fucking 1 rep maxes. I'm trying to get a bit more, let's just say, smart with the actual weight and fucking workloads that I'm using. I don't want to fucking hurt myself. But yeah, I'm not one of either. I'm just fucking. I've said this before, and I really lean into it. I'm just like a fucking anti-pussy lifter. You know what I'm saying there? Not in a. That sounds kind of silly, but dude, it's like if you're going easy, but you think that you're going to get real results. I mean, that's just beyond delusional, And that's when that happens immediately in somebody's mind who's not like seriously interested in actually reflecting over their own training routine and trying to adjust, like it's just not likely. I mean, it's almost against your first nature to think, okay, I'm in the wrong here, I need to make adjustments, I need to change if I want better results. That's not a very easy thing to think, not in lifting and not in fucking life, right? If you cut somebody off and then they fucking honk their horn at you, 90% of the time, I feel like people aren't going to say, oh my God, I'm sorry, fuck, that was on my. They're just going to turn around and fucking like flip them off. So, same thing with working out. If somebody is barely fucking going hard, like maybe just barely putting themselves into a state of mild hypertrophy as a beginner, and then their gains suddenly slow down, well, dude, I'm training. Uh, I mean, it's definitely not my diet. I mean, dude, I'm fucking fully hydrated. I had 3 monsters today. Oh man, it's just my fucking genetics, I guess. Screw it. Whatever. I'm gonna fucking go out to the bar tonight with my buddies. This is stupid. I'm done training. I don't know if that scenario happens too often, but I mean, seriously, if you're lacking results, do not think suddenly like, oh well, I must be training as smart as I can. This is just as far as I was meant to go. Dude, no fucking chance. So getting back to what I was saying about what I just like about working out in general is your results are so directly related to your effort levels on a consistent basis. If every day you're actually pushing it and you're actually killing it and your sets are hard to the point where people are gonna like watch you doing them, because I mean, depending on how big you get, dude, you could stop a couple dudes if you're doing a crazy set of something. And I don't mean crazy weight. Like if you're going really fucking crazy, I mean that's something I notice. Like if I'm at a new gym or I see somebody doing real squats or I see somebody doing like, I don't know, just whatever, and I can tell they're actually pushing themselves. Yeah, that's what I want to fucking see. So if you can do that on the regular, it will not even be a question of if you get results. It's simply a question of when. It's now just a time game. So that's why I'm so kind of maybe not obsess, but that's why I always sort of perpetuate the idea, like, it's not necessarily about hyper fixating on your end result or trying to like make sure you're the strongest that you can be right now by like doing like some crazy weight that won't even get you gains for a 1 rep max. I think what's the most important in terms of long-term fucking gains is being able to be comfortable with putting effort in a long-term fucking time frame, right? You got to be comfortable knowing, okay, I'm going to be fucking killing it here for the next year, the next 2 years, the next 3 years, the next fucking 10 years. And if you can get into that fucking understanding, your potential for gains, oh, I don't want to say limitless, right? We're never going to see a 500 pounds lean character, but making gains on a consistent basis for at least a pretty long fucking time frame, no fucking question. So just try to get into the daily grind. It's the only way I know. But I think that's enough chatting. I barely even talked about the workout, but today's legs, hamstrings first, followed by quads, followed by hopefully a pump check that I have to kind of hobble my way over to because my legs will be so fucking pumped, and then just come home and eat. So let's stop freaking yapping and get in there. Nothing crazy here to start. Stack, double leg, moderate tempo, momentary hold at the top, straight up clean heavy set with some dirty partials at the end. But I mean, I think that's a good way to do it. It's like a mullet. It's like business in the front end. Get a little dirty at the end of it. Fully pumped, fully fatigued, full of failure, and repeat. If I can pick a better song, there it is. Okay. Oh my god. A few more. Zip style. My hamstrings feel fucking crazy strong after that rest day. Let's add these little bumper plates too. Yeah, perfect. All right, let's get some assistance on the next set. Woo. Four more. That's good. Oh, thank you. Oh my god. Huh. Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks. Little tempo change for this one. So, first two sets were pretty much, I'd say, as basic as you get. Heavy, straight set to failure, nothing fancy. Third set with the assistance, really nice. But let's change it up to a more of a rest pause. So 5 good reps, not to failure, but just 5 good reps. Stand up for a second. Maybe not that long, not 30 seconds, maybe like 10, 15 seconds. Another 5, another 10, 15 seconds. Another 5, kind of go like that and hit failure in that way. And part of the reason I like that is just it's a different rate of fatigue. You know, with a regular set, it's going to look like this. Like, okay, you've got this much energy. It's decreasing, it's decreasing, it's decreasing. Failure. Pretty linear. But with something like this, it's like, okay, I'm losing energy. Okay, I get a little break, get a little back, losing energy, a little back, losing energy, a little back, a little back. You know, I'm not saying it's magically better, and I'm not going to try to like say it's, well, the neofibro, aka the hyper twitch muscles in your hamstrings will respond to. It's just different. It burns. It's going to pump up my hamstrings. So that sounds good to me. Let's get amped up to some fucking dub and go crazy. All right. All right. Okay. Same shit. I gotta drop the weight for this one. Okay. Oh. Oh. That's enough laying curls. Oh my goodness. Let's keep it basic here. Light-ish weight, slow, emphasis on holding the stretch position. Maybe one or two, and that'll be it, man. Hamstring really got cooked, especially with that assisted set. I should do more of those. There we go. Oh my gosh. One more. Yeah. Gotta move the seat forward a little. Okay. I gotta back the seat up and do a minor drop set. Okay. That's enough. That for quads. Oh. Oh. I thought you were gonna do like some zoom action. Let's get into this nice and slow. 115 pounds. So I plan on doing kind of a little bit of a lengthy set here, but same approach as usual. 5 reps with the right side, 5 with the left. The first few back and forths are going to be the slowest with the longest hold, because that's one of the strongest. So I'm going to try to make those reps the hardest. And as I get weaker and weaker, they might speed up a little bit. And then probably once I'm just bouncing around this range of motion, that'll be my cue to call it. Thanks. There we go. Let's make it kind of a half drop set. Okay. All right. Let's make the next one a little heavier. Heavier yet. Whew. Goodness. All right, come on. Okay. All right. Let's do some kind of pressing next. Oh my gosh. So I don't use this leg press that much. So let's just do 8 plates, which on this leg press especially, 8 is not that insane. Because I think this, I don't know if it says it somewhere, but if I had a protractor, I'd say this is just about a 30-degree incline. And if you remember anything about fucking trigonometry, that would mean that fucking I'm only feeling half of his weight. So sure, I mean, 16 plates is like damn near 800 pounds, but I'm only feeling like 400 of it. So I know 400, but not that crazy. And I don't want to push the limits too hard because this knee down here is a little tender. I think it was, I couldn't tell you exactly what from, but enough where it's keeping me from wanting to do like crazy bananas heavy squats. But something like this, especially targeting more so kind of a long, torturous kind of set with a really deep stretch, I don't need any more weight, I don't think. And I get an extra level of comfort because this leg press has a safety. So even if I hit failure, I'm fine. I can just kind of put it down. So nothing else to say except for get going. Nice. I probably could have got that one. But I think I'm going to take some plates off, push this thing back into position, and let's just run this up. This feels really good. Before we move on, doing this leg press, I feel it in like my upper quad way up here, which I usually never do. So this is perfect. I got a couple more of these in the tank. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's keep these up. I have been sleeping on leg press for so fucking long. Oh man, yeah, this is sick. I don't know what changed. Because when I was younger and I would do leg press heavy, I'd feel it fucking almost always all glutes. Maybe like I was saying in the car, I've become a more advanced lifter so I can more accurately target the muscle I actually want to hit. But let's keep this shit up. This is like the perfect weight too. Damn. I'm gonna try to do a 1 second-ish pause at the bottom of every rep. Come on. Oh gosh. That is actually a really nuts fucking set. Let's do at least 2 more of that exact same style. Okay. One more. Oh my God. You know, it's kind of funny. The last time that I was doing leg press like this, I was a sub 200 pounder. You know, like probably 190, maybe 180-ish. And I was trying to do like 13 plates. How times have changed. Okay. Okay. Oh. No. That's enough. Oh my God. Yeah. That was really good. Let's go fucking pause down. and unrack all this shit. Dude, fucking diabolical. The only downside that comes with an insane diabolical pump burn, fatigue, and everything else that goes along with those. Did I do 4 sets of leg press? I definitely did 4, but I can't remember. I wasn't. I know I did 3 sets of leg extensions. Yeah, I must have only done 4. Well, still, with some of those machine leg press, is a fucking diabolical lower back pump, and not so. If you think about it, when you're doing that leg press, odds are your feet are going to be a little bit above, like it's kind of tricky to describe, but your feet are basically going to be parallel, but it's a bit above where your hips are. So what that would mean is it's kind of trying to pull your butt upward, right, and sort of roll you. So every rep, you have to kind of activate your lower back to keep it up against the seat, so that you don't like fucking snap your shit. I mean, just to put it simply. But what happens then is after you do 4 sets of those, your lower back is going to be reasonably pumped. I mean, I guess depending on how heavy you were going. And then when you combine when you combine that with having to take off every plate, bend over with it, and rack it, dude, like I was struggling to fucking even walk out of the gym. Like not like I was gonna collapse or anything, but like my lower back was burning the whole time. As soon as I sat in the car, I put the recliner all the way down for a minute just so I could take the tension off. But well worth it. And leg press is here to stay. That was probably, in terms of what a science-based character would say, rate of perceived exertion, that was a very good workout today. Pretty much the only muscles that were really getting fatigued, I mean, apart from my lower back at the end, was whichever one was targeted. Hamstrings on the hamstring curls, quads on the leg extensions, of course, but that one's pretty easy. And then quads on that leg press, literally zero glute activation. I must have been doing leg press totally wrong when I was younger. I wonder. Actually, I was probably just going too heavy. That's probably the issue. It's I think one major difference which I think I've come to be able to realize now is that you can the important part is doing difficult sets, but that difficulty doesn't have to just come from heavy weight. It can come from whatever. Now, of course, if it does come from heavy weight and you're doing just like a heavy set, that's still a good set. But you could fucking drop the weight by I mean, I'm not saying every set should be like this, but if it's evenly distributed on the on the range of heavy shit to lighter squeezing stuff, then dude, I'd be fine doing like 2 sets of crazy heavy hamstring curls on the leg curl, drop the weight literally by 4 times, and then just sit there and do like crazy squeezing light ones with a slow hold on the fucking on the stretch position. I mean, I don't think it really matters too much. Now, of course, I wouldn't say just only do crazy light squeezing stuff. I think if you stick on one side of that spectrum too far, then you're going to be missing out. But if you're evenly distributed, you're doing some heavy, legitimate, fucking brutal work, like, heavy bench, heavy curls, heavy whatever, heavy leg curls, heavy leg extensions, heavy leg press, and then you combine that with like some lighter squeezing stuff that's really kind of fucking burning, and then, move around that sort of, let's just say, what's the word? Kind of continuum in your workouts, dude, you're in for a treat. And I can, well, you're in for a treat, but you're definitely in for a fucking pump. But getting back to what I was saying on the way here, that's almost secondary to the fact that you have to make sure you fucking go nuts. I mean, I was just kind of thinking about it when I was doing those leg press sets. Like I maybe not a little jealous, but sometimes I get a little curious about just how many sets are being done where people don't seriously push it. Now, I don't mean everybody. Of course, if there's like a fucking, um, like, I don't, not in a mean kind of way, but like if there's a grandma coming to the gym to do a fucking good workout, stay in shape, I wouldn't expect like an RPE 10 on the chest press. You know what I'm saying? But for the lifters who their goal is legitimately trying to reach their limit in terms of their physical ability on each set, which is not everybody in the gym, and it doesn't have to be. But if it is, if that's you, then how much are you leaving on the table? And that's not a rhetorical question, you know, because it depends on how long you've been working out for, right? If you're sometimes I feel like I might have missed out on some serious gains as a beginner because I was doing a lot of like just kind of higher volume. I definitely wasn't hitting like complete total failure on all, or at least most of my sets when I was younger. It's like I kind of wonder how my sort of muscle progression would have changed had I been training the way I do now back then. But it's just something to think about. Something to think about, but not something to worry about, right? If you get too fucking tied up and like, oh man, I wish I would have been, oh, I wish, who cares, man? It's done. It's over. That's way back then. There's no changing it. Just, you know, move ahead now and use your best judgment to make sure that whatever trajectory you're putting yourself on is at whatever current moment that is something you can stand behind. And not just working out wise, but just regular. If you legitimately are objectively like truthful in the fact that you're like, all right, this is what I want to do, this is why I want to do it, okay, let's go for it. Even if it ends up being a fucking mistake, whatever, right? Just kind of move on. You learn from it. So that's where I'm not gonna freak when I look back at my my 25 set chest days and my fucking like some of the lifts where one time I missed a workout on we did like a little vacation, so uh, I added chest and back to an arm day, and I did 100 fucking sets because then 25 sets of back, 25 sets of chest, 25 sets of triceps, 25 sets of curls. And now those sets were definitely not like the craziest sets ever, but I mean I was in the gym for like it must have been 2.5 hours. You know, it's just the way you're training, the way you're training will change over time. As long as you're making a conscious effort to try to improve it, you should be able to look back and think, man, what the fuck was I thinking? Right? But if your heart's in the right place and you know you're like, this is what you want to do, this is how hard I want to go, it's like, all right, I'm not a fucking pussy. Let's do it. Let's do fucking chest, back, arms, full workout. Come on. It's like, you know, that's just how you roll. But I'm very certain that I'm gonna feel my quads tomorrow. 90% sure I'll feel them the next day, and then probably just a little bit the day after that too. Because for me, that really sort of deep. And then today I, kind of changed it up. I did those kind of holding reps at the bottom. That's new for me. That's a new kind of set that my quads haven't really been exposed to. So, that was sort of in the spirit of shocking the muscle. And if you've only ever done, like, well, I don't know. Let's say somebody only ever did leg press and they got, they were going hard on leg press. I think they would be extra sore if one day after like 6 months of only leg press, they did like only leg extensions, let's say 7, 8 hard, legitimate failure sets with a crazy burn and squeeze. That guy's quads would be destroyed, and it's not because the leg extensions like were so much more effective than the leg press. They're just different. So if you can tell your training has been getting a little bit stale, or you haven't really been doing a certain movement, you kind of been slacking on it for whatever reason. For me, I haven't done a crazy amount of leg press the last, almost forever, because it used to really work my glutes like crazy. And I'm like, I don't need a bigger butt. I want to work my quads. But going back to it now feels freaking awesome. Back in the roster. So post-workout meal, I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't really want to do a breakfast for dinner situation right now, but maybe. Because honestly, the oatmeal with the eggs plus some cheese slices mixed in, it goes down so easy. It's like I almost don't want to eat it too much because I bet I'm gonna get tired of it. So I'll have to see. But most of my meals look just about like this. Right? 50 grams of protein from whatever source, be it primarily, at least as of late, eggs, steak, ground beef, the occasional protein drink. Not not like on the daily. Like I'm not doing a protein shake a day, but every so often I'll get the 50 grams from just like a sort of one of the shakes you can just buy like in the little bottles. They're pretty convenient, but in no way would I want to stack my chips purely on protein shakes. But that's pretty much every meal, 50 grams ish. If I'm a little over, if I'm a little under, I'm not freaking. Usually 20, 30 grams of fats, usually kind of closer to 20, and then about 150 or so grams of carbs. So when you add all that up, that ends up being just about what I'm aiming for in terms of around 1,000 calories a meal, and then 5 times a day, perfect. So over time, I'm never one to add meals. I mean, I'll hear that said a lot. It's like, all right, you've been bulking for a few weeks or a few months, however, your weight has plateaued. It's like add a meal, add another meal. I don't know. That's not really how I've gotten into it. Usually about five ish, plus like snacks in between sometimes to kind of even it out. That's usually how I go about it. But could change. Who's to say? But I know I'm gonna have the deepest sleep of the last freaking week after that leg day. Probably some fucking crazy dreams about walking around at a 300-pound body weight. And then tomorrow I've got chest, which I think I need to go to a new gym for chest. I got a fucking problem here because all the gyms that I go to around where I live are one side of the coin when it comes to dumbbell bench, right? They either have the like the Life Fitness benches that I really like those ones for me are just totally perfect for dumbbell bench, like perfect height, perfect everything. I can throw the dumbbells up no problem. The something about the width I just really like. So I mean that's like the all the benches at like a Planet Fitness. That's usually what they are, like the basic ones, which is good, right? Love the bench, but the gyms around me that have dumbbells heavy enough, which is it's just the 150. I don't think I have much need to ever go above 150-pound dumbbells, but right around there is what I'm aiming for and kind of what I would like. But the only gyms that have dumbbells that heavy, I don't love the benches. Like they're at kind of a weird angle that like the seat doesn't scoot high enough. So I feel like I'm gonna slip out of the bench while I'm doing a rep. And if you're holding 150 pounds over your head in both hands and something goes awry, I don't even want to think about it. So I don't want to load up that much weight if the support system isn't something I like. And usually I'm not crazy picky, but I mean that's a risky situation. So I think I might make some kind of excursion, some kind of little excursion somewhere where I know they've got exactly what I'm looking for. So I guess we'll have to find out where that is tomorrow. But I don't know if I want to do another Q&A. I think I should I don't know. I don't want to post anything on like like the Instagram story or even sometimes like even making these little YouTube community posts. It just gets filled up with so many questions. I can't like get through all of them. So I want to change it up a little bit. Maybe sooner or later I'll post something where it's like you know post your craziest set with the hashtag whatever, and then I'll scan them. We can do like a little watch party. So if you've got a crazy set or you did some kind of bench, like whatever weight, 10 reps, and that last rep was like a fucking absolute grinder where you really dug deep for it. I think that'd be kind of cool. So we'll see when that happens. I guess just keep yourself updated. So I'm gonna go eat, get some rest, and then repeat tomorrow. So this this daily cycle, this daily sort of routine is going to maintain its course probably all the way up until Christmas. Probably until Christmas, I think, or just around there. And then yeah, that'll be kind of nice to start a dieting phase right in the new year. I never really need to rely on like New Year resolution kind of hype, but it's kind of nice. kind of nice to start something right in the beginning of 2025. But until then, get comfortable. Get comfortable. So I'll see you tomorrow for what I have no reason to believe, or what I have every reason to believe will be a diabolical, awe-inspiring, enthralling, world-shocking chest pump. So I'll see you then.